If you're unfamiliar, this is God's Not Dead. Now, in the frame here, the guy in the background is supposed to be an evil scumbag atheist lawyer who doesn't care about anybody but himself, was kind of coerced to go see his mother who's dealing with dementia, but God is sending him messages through his dementia-riddled mother. It's just obscene and ridiculous on every level. It's Christian propaganda if you've never seen it. This is actually part 5, I think. If you haven't seen the others, don't sweat it. This stands independently of the rest. I'll provide context if it's missing. But before we continue on with this, I do want to put on record I have nothing against Christians whatsoever. In fact, I think we need to work with Christians to kind of stomp out extremism and propaganda. But this is like a step too far. This is like beyond ridiculous, this movie is. It's straight up wrong. So let's watch this and see what they have to say for themselves. This is Dean Cain in the background, I believe. He was a pretty big star back in the 90s. Surprised to see him in this. Let's listen to him be a scumbag lawyer to his dementia patient mom. Oh, yeah, and while we watch this, I'm going to play some Pokemon Fire Red. It's a ROM hack that allows me to catch every Pokemon, not just, the ones in Fire Red.
I don't even know what I'm doing here. I mean, it's not like you even know who I am.
Yeah, I guess he just never cared about his mom or something. This movie is so dark, dude.
You prayed and believed your whole life. Never done anything wrong. And here you are.
You're the nicest person I know. I am the meanest. You have dementia. My life is perfect. Explain that to me.
Sometimes the devil allows people to live a life free of trouble because he doesn't want them turning to God.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So once again, another cute little piece of propaganda here. I met somebody recently who says cute as like an acknowledgement, like they're saying okay. Like I was working with somebody and I was like, hey, can you like look up this website for me or something? They're like, cute. Anyway, that's unrelated. Earlier in this movie, they addressed the problem of impotence versus evil, as it's called. It's a problem with the evangelical understanding of God that has existed for a very, very long time. The idea is that God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-wise, and benevolent, good, wants to help everybody around him, right? Well, that's not how people in the Old Testament or even in the New Testament viewed God. That belief about God didn't exist until like way, 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 way later. And a lot of the ideas that we have about God today and heaven and hell were formed out by like the Catholic Church and contemporary books, stuff like that. So anyways, this problem of impotence versus evil. Either God is not all powerful or he's not all good. There are people starving in Africa right now that God could fix, that he could help. He could solve the problem for them. He could simply put food on their table in front of them right now. And it wouldn't be taking anyone's free will away. It wouldn't be giving a bad person a leg up or any of that. And he chooses not to, seemingly. Either he chooses not to or he's incapable of it. Impotence versus evil. Either he's not all powerful or he's not all good. That's the idea. And it's a problem that evangelicals, like the people in this movie, need to address. Like I said, the original conception of God wasn't all powerful. Look in the book of Genesis, where Adam and Eve were wandering around after sinning and hiding from God. and God was like, why are you guys hiding from me? He's looking for them. He couldn't find them. That's not all-powerful. That's not all-knowing. God was never meant to be all-knowing and all-powerful. But he's kind of been bastardized into this modern perception of who he was. And they're projecting that into this movie and trying to explain the problems away that come along with that perception, basically. And their answer is, sometimes Satan lets people live a life of trouble because he doesn't want them turning to God. That is just simply completely absurd. I'm sorry. Everything about this is absurd. You just admit that God is not all-powerful or not all good, one or the other, as it was originally intended.
Because he doesn't want them turning to God. Their sin is like a jail cell, except it's all nice and comfy, and there doesn't seem to be any need to leave.
That if you like experiencing the thing that you're experiencing, like if you like being in this jail cell with a door open that's comfortable, I would say it's not really a jail cell, is it? A jail cell necessarily means you're not allowed to leave and it's uncomfortable. It seems to me that living a life that you enjoy without like bizarre restrictions, the way that, you know, evangelicals put restrictions on people, living this life, there's nothing wrong with living this life. I don't understand what their hang up is here. Just let people live the life they want to live.
Door's wide open. Till one day, time runs out. The cell door slams shut. And suddenly, it's too late.
Yeah, they're just fear-mongering here, trying to scare people into doing something about their lives and modifying it and trying to bring it more in line with what evangelicals believe you should be doing. But I feel I've already proven that evangelicals don't really have a grip on anything. They have a completely bastardized, warped idea of what the Bible says that is not accurate in any way. Probably disturbing to him to hear somebody that has dementia, you know, say all these things and then turn to look at him. That's the impression that they're trying to give you here, but I kept interrupting it, and it probably broke you out of the illusion of creepiness that they're trying to portray here.
Who did you say you were?
She had a moment of clarity. Basically, they're implying that God was speaking through her mouth just now. Just absurd. And if you missed the last one, these guys they're a couple of preachers, and they were trying to make their way to some event. They were trying to drive their car to some event, and the car kept not starting, and the implication is that God refused to let them leave for one reason or another. And they finally got this one car to start, and now we're here.
I can't believe this. The car actually starts, and now we're being done in by believers.
I think it's beautiful.
Please, no more words of wisdom.
But I'm just happy to see all these people going to sing about Jesus.
Hey, Amy, you're not here to trash us, are you? I think that's what you might have done, but I think you're here kind of wondering, kind of hoping that this stuff is for real, aren't you?
That would be fantastic. Not every atheist feels that way. Some atheists would be absolutely I would be disgusted if the evangelical God existed, but I wouldn't mind finding out that some other God existed, any God, because that would mean that it's not lights out in the end. Some people don't mind that. I kind of mind that. Unfortunately, I just can't believe it. I'm sorry. I wish I could change that. I simply cannot. So it doesn't matter how badly you want this to be the case, how much you want to believe it, it's irrelevant. What matters is this true or not? And the answer is no. As far as I can tell, it's made up just like Islam, just like Buddhism and Hinduism and Jainism and Sikhism and every other group out there. They've come up with this pretty story, this packaged up nice and neat, got hospital corners on it. It's hard to disagree with if you buy into some fundamental positions. But it's all made up, just like every other one out there, as far as I can tell.
Kind of hoping that this stuff is for real, aren't you?
How do you know that?
Really? Really? How do you know that? Seriously, what a ridiculous question to even ask. She's dying. Of course, a dying person would like to not die.
Well, I just felt that that's what God was saying, and He just wanted you to know.
Totally. It was God. If their God exists, I'd rather go to hell, super nerd. Yeah, I think I agree with you. If their God exists, I would rather go to hell too. I don't want anything to do with their interpretation of God. It's just grotesque and evil and disgusting, honestly. I would love to think that some kind of God exists that takes care of you when you check out, but I'm sorry, I just can't.
I can't.
Yeah. And he's just the drummer.
Okay, so I guess they were going to a Newsboys concert is what they were doing, the pastors or whatever. Again, Newsboys are a Christian band, and I don't know. Apparently they're pretty popular. I just can't stand Christian bands, personally, but I'm wondering why they were portrayed as not being able to go to this band, the two pastors whose cars wouldn't start. I'm probably going to have to skip through the music. So all of the cast members throughout the entire movie are like coming to make an appearance here. Like this girl was dating an atheist professor and she was mistreated by this evil atheist naturally because all atheists mistreat their spouses or their significant others. And she decided to show up here, okay? Oh, and this guy is another character. He's from China and didn't know what God was, but wanted to be a part of it, apparently. Yeah, it's just every character that appeared in the movie up to this point, pretty much. Oh, and this is the atheist professor, the evil atheist professor who hates Christians. But secretly, he really hates God because he lost his mother to cancer or something like that. And that made him so angry at God that he vowed to hurt God. And that's what he spent his life doing, hurting God. It's just ridiculous, dude, on every level. Every last bit of this is ridiculous. Oh, yeah, so in the very beginning, if you didn't see the early episodes, this professor ordered his students to write God is dead on their, their little papers or whatever and turn them in. It's a philosophy class, and he was using that as some justification. It's all just ridiculous nonsense.
My dearest son, Words cannot...
Oh, yeah, his mom is the one that died of cancer when he was little, and he blames God for that or something. So I guess he decided to, like, pull out the little thing and hit the note from his mom before she died and read it. Okay.
My dearest son, words cannot express the love I have for you, or the sorrow in my heart knowing that I will never be able to see you grow up and fulfill God's plan for your life. My heart is broken at the thought of leaving you. I know God is in control. His ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. Live life to the fullest and remain in the joy of the Lord. You will forever be in my heart. I love you, Mom.
That was like the last letter she sent to him before she died. Okay.
Leave a message.
Mina, it's Jeffrey. Please call me.
I think Mina or Nina or whatever, I think that's his girlfriend who was a Christian, but got super sick of dealing with him being like an evil atheist, so decided to leave him. And now she's at this Newsboys conference. They showed her a minute ago. Or not conference, a Newsboys concert. Yeah. So I'm assuming he's had some kind of a weird change of heart where he was an atheist and now he's like a giga believer or something like that. I remember the very end of this movie, and that's about all I remembered. Like, I remember how things go for this guy here. So he pushes if you're just listening and not watching, he pushes a newspaper aside and notices that there's a Newsboys rock band concert in town. Dashes off to find the love of his life.
Hey guys, we're at go for the show.
Hey Steve, give us a minute, buddy. This is kind of important.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
We pray for you. Real quick. You mind? Cool.
That's super interesting. So they're about to play this massive concert and, you know, in front of like thousands, tens of thousands of people. I don't know how many people are being portrayed as attending this, but the point that they're making here is that praying is more important than it's worth it to keep tens of thousands of people sitting there waiting. It's worth it to do that if you are converting somebody, I guess is the point that they're trying to make.
Dear God, we don't know your plan for Amy, Lord. But God, we're asking you would save her tonight, Lord. Change her, cleanse her, give her a fresh start, Lord. Let her know that she's loved. And more importantly, that she is loved by you, the master of the universe.
Again, that's a bastardization of what God was supposed to be according to the Bible. Nobody believed he was the master of the universe or all-powerful or all-knowing or any of that stuff until, like, the 1400s or something. I don't even remember when it was now.
Give her strength for the journey ahead, Lord. And let her know in her heart, God, speak to her, that you're going to be with her every step of the way. We pray this, Jesus, in your holy name. Amen.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're gonna roll.
Cool. You be okay, Amy? Good.
Another atheist converted, okay? By the by, I'm about to do something. I'm going to exploit the game, basically, here. And, again, this is a ROM hack, so it's fire red, except I can catch every single Pokemon in it, right? It's called Ultraviolet. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm in the Safari Zone, and I'm using save states. So there's a Chansey in here, and there is a 5% chance of finding a chansey, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry. There's a 4% chance of finding a chansey if you're in this one specific area. And I'm headed there now. Now, when you throw a Pokeball, you have a 5% chance of catching that chansey. And that chansey that you get has a 5% chance of holding an item called a lucky egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw, the math runs out to about 1,000 Pokeballs, statistically. I'm going to throw about 1,000 Pokeballs to catch a chansey that has a lucky egg, and that will double the experience that I receive through battles. Forgot to check something. Oh my god. I just realized I forgot to deposit a Pokemon into the thing, so I'm going to have to go back. But anyways, yeah, it's taken me anywhere from 20 minutes to 5 hours to do properly. It's difficult, but with save states, I can usually exploit it and get it fairly quickly. So in a minute, you're going to see that in the background. That's an explanation for what you're watching. Anyway, let's keep listening here.
Good.
Make a way for...
Yeah, I'm not going to listen to the music because I think it sucks. There's my review, so it falls under fair use. And I also don't want to risk any kind of copyright infringement stuff or anything. So I'm going to either mute it or skip forward.
Make a way for...
I mean, I'm honestly trying to think about and review the music right now. So let's just listen to it for a second and kind of get an idea for the style.
Make a way for the king. The king is coming.
Okay, well, I guess I can see the draw to the style. It's not terrible. The intro was kind of interesting, where it was just kind of, some synths and some drum beats in the beginning, and then he decided to drop the beat pretty early. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of this style of music, and I'm not really a fan of this song or this band, apparently, at the moment. That's the professor, the atheist professor's Nina or Mina or whatever her name was. It's his ex-girlfriend who broke up with him because she's a Christian and they don't want to be unevenly yoked and blah, blah, blah. I guess she's at the conference. And the concert. And I think I think something's about to happen to him. He's on his way to see her and something's about to go down. Okay, here's the chancy thing starting. I just have to, basically I have a 5% chance, or a 4% chance of encountering a chansey right here. Once I encounter one, it's a 5% chance of catching it with the Pokeball. And once I catch it, here you go, it's a 5% chance that it has the lucky egg. So usually I burn through about 7 chances before I get it, but I've gone through 50 of them, 55, 60 chances before I actually got the lucky egg. So yeah.
Empty hearts are filling up. Wicked ways are coming undone. Every eye is looking out for you. City lights are burning out.
Okay, and here's the atheist professor running to the concert to try to find the love of his life. The music isn't bad, I have to say. It's not terrible. I'm trying to completely ignore the lyrics because that would bother me. It would just drive me up a wall. But just beat-wise, I don't think it's terrible. That music is so loud. I'm sorry. Let me turn it down a little bit.
Freedom song is ringing loud. Dead men waking up to the sound of you.
I guess it's kind of got maybe like an Incubus feel to it, or like Dave Matthews Band feel, right? it's not really exactly rock. Maybe alternative rock? Is that, you think that's pretty close? Alt rock? Closer description? Okay, it's starting to grow on me a little bit, the song. The way that they're kind of moving from like a low register to a higher register like that, that's not bad. I'm actually kind of a little bit of a fan. I would never listen to this casually because the lyrics feels like it just makes my skin crawl. But overall, I think the song's okay. I'm going to mute it, though, because I don't want to keep reviewing it. So she's dancing and loving the music and going nutty. And these guys are dancing around, and they're in suits. And he's walking. Oh, and here's a crosswalk. He's waiting at a crosswalk. Thunder.
Oh, that's perfect.
Now it's raining really hard.
So much for sunny and clear skies.
Okay, so it turns red and the walk sign changes. And then a car comes and hits him. Wow, these graphics. Okay, so he got hit by a car. He's laying in the street. Got what an atheist deserves, right? In their mind, anyway.
Call the ambulance!
Don't move. Oh, his ribs are crushed. His lungs are filling with blood. He doesn't have long.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Don't move.
I guess that's why they had the missionary there, because he's probably a field medic, too, having to deal with, like, dangerous situations and stuff on occasion.
I can't die. I'm not ready.
Do you know Jesus?
Oh, my God. That bothers me a lot. I feel like, by and large, Christian evangelicals, like this guy specifically, are predatory. Have always been predatory. They look for an opportunity to spread the message, and they will even use somebody's death against them. They will use their death to their advantage if it means getting one more convert under their belt. Shameless and disgusting, in my opinion. So he asks, do you know Jesus? And of course this guy is going to say, oh, I'm an atheist. Please save me.
Do you know Jesus?
I'm an atheist.
I believe it's God's mercy that brought me here right now.
Of course you do.
I'm dying. How can you call that mercy?
Because that car could have killed you instantly. And I'm sure right now you probably wish that it did. But I'm here to tell you that it's a gift. Because the God that you don't believe in has given you another chance.
See, this is how propaganda works. It makes you feel emotional, puts you in an emotional state, plays sad music in the background. Pastor Greg Locke does the exact same thing at his church. Has somebody on a piano, and every time he starts to get loud, the person on the piano starts pumping it up a little bit more, getting it a little bit more beat, a little louder, and speeding up the beat. So they get this dark tone music and this darker atmosphere. It's dark outside, it's raining, it's sad, and they make something really terrible happen to put you in an emotionally vulnerable state. And then they spring it on you. They portray this guy being saved by Jesus. The final payoff to their emotional state that they've put you in. That's what makes this propaganda in the first place. Truly, honestly, disgusting how they blatantly manipulate people's emotions like this. For the record, this is what cults are known for doing. Manipulating people emotionally. It's one of the points, one of the hallmarks that I expect to see from a cult.
Another chance to change your final answer.
I don't want to die. I'm so scared.
They're playing off of the fears that every human being deals with. I don't want to die. I'm so scared. And they're giving you an out after getting you riled up emotionally.
If it's any consolation, so is Jesus. He's so scared he sweat blood.
Okay, that does not sound right. I don't think that's physiologically possible, but all right.
Yes.
And for that matter, what was Jesus afraid of exactly? He wasn't going to die permanently. Jesus knew he was coming back, ostensibly, right? Give me a break.
Jesus. He's so scared he sweat blood. He asked the Father if it could be removed from him, but the answer was no.
He says no a lot.
He gives us the answer we'd ask for if we knew what he knows.
There you go. There's another explanation. Like I said, all through this movie, they had to come up with these explanations for all of the holes in the story, right? If God is all-powerful and benevolent, why doesn't he feed African children? Or if he created this planet and he's benevolent, why did he create parasites whose whole life cycle is to burrow into people's eyes and eat them from the inside out? Why does that exist? Why is that part of the ecosystem in the world if God is benevolent? There are plot holes all through this entire story. Not this story, God's not dead, but the story, the biblical story. And all through this entire propaganda film, they've attempted to answer those problems. You know, sometimes good people suffer, sometimes bad people don't suffer. That's not cohesive with the ideas presented by evangelical extremists. So how do they explain that? Oh, sometimes Satan has to let bad people succeed because it prevents them from connecting with God. Really. And here's another one. He gives us the answers that we would ask for if we knew what he knows. No, I just don't want my grandmother to die. How about that one? I want my grandmother to stay with me another day. I don't give a shit what you claim Jesus knows. What I care about is not losing the people that matter most to me in this world. What I care about is not losing my own life. This makes no sense whatsoever. Jesus gives us the answer he thinks we need or whatever. Give me a break.
The answer we'd ask for if we knew what he knows.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts, says.
Again, they're making you even more emotional. They're doing everything they can to play into this emotionally vulnerable state that they've just fabricated for the audience. And now they're quoting a Bible verse.
Lord.
Exactly. So the question is, stay with me. Stay with me. Are you willing to put your faith in Jesus Christ? Are you willing to take that chance?
Oh, God, I guess that they had it raining so that he could technically be baptized, right? Water sprinkling on him or whatever. Does that even count?
Yes.
God is willing to forgive you of your sins. All of them. If you accept his son and ask him into your life, that's all you have to do is just accept his son. Accept his love and receive his forgiveness right now. Do you?
They didn't consider calling an ambulance. I mean, has anybody done that yet? Have they done any CPR or anything at all on him? I don't know. Is there something somebody could have done? Anything at all? They said he's bleeding into his lungs, right? Do you ever consider, taking a pen and kind of pulling the pen apart and getting the tube and cutting a hole right into his skin and jamming it in so that the blood kind of shoots out so that he can breathe again? You ever consider trying that little trick? Seen that a couple of times? No, they're just going to give him his last rites instead because that's what's most important. Not saving his life, but saving his soul. Right, totally. Totally.
You accept him as Lord and Savior?
Yes, I expect.
It's all right. In a few minutes, you're gonna know more about God than I do, or anybody else here does.
It is so painful and cringy. I can't stand it.
It's okay.
And again, it's so emotionally manipulative. It's disgusting. They played this for children. Okay, the other day I watched, I don't know which part it was, maybe part 3 or 4, and there was like a physically abusive part in that where somebody was going around like hitting their kid, and it caused flashbacks for some of us in the audience. They really should not have dug down this deep with the propaganda, but they wanted to. They insisted on it because they will do whatever it takes, literally anything, to convert people to Christianity, whatever it takes. Disgusting. Oops, don't preach to people who are dying. You get in trouble for that. Lots of it too. Do you? Do people get in trouble for that? I mean, it's wrong, deeply wrong. It's coercive and destructively. They're using undue influence on them. Their decision making has been impacted. It's the problem.
It's okay.
Yeah, that was Chansey number 3. I'm just going to write this down. Yeah, Chansey number 3. Hopefully I catch it within like 7 like the last time. We'll see. And then he dies, I guess. Now we're back at the Newsboys.
Check out the screen behind me. We have a very special message from a very good friend.
This guy sounds exactly like Dave Chappelle. Is it just me? Like his mannerisms seemed very similar.
Hey, I'm Willie Robertson, speaking
Oh God, this is from Duck Dynasty.
on behalf of the Robertson family. Me and the gang wanted to let you know we've heard in the news that there's been a bit of a squabble down there on campus. One of your professors insisted that God is dead. Well, I'm happy to announce that the reports of God's death were greatly exaggerated. Now let me ask you a question. Have you got your cell phones on you? Good. All right, now while this next song is playing, I want everyone to go to their contacts and click on everybody you know and text them. 3 simple words.
Yeah, this is more propaganda. I actually took my nieces to see this because they were, pretty religious. Not super religious. They were moderates. Like, it's actually my kid Alpha Force Zero's grandmother. It's her cousins, basically, and stuff. So it's like Alpha Force Zero's mom's side of the family, not my side of the family. But anyways, they're moderate. They're pretty religious. They're deep, devout believers, but they're not absolutely unhinged from reality. They don't hate gay people. They don't hate anybody for anything, basically. They're good people, generally, right? But I took those girls, about 14, 15 years old, to see this movie. Now, I didn't go in. I just went to pick them up again afterward. And when they walked out, they were screaming the words, "God's not dead, he's surely alive," and texting everybody in their phone. That is the end result of this. Again, this whole thing, everything that we just watched, is propaganda intended to bring in new believers. And it's absolutely unhinged from reality and disgusting and exploitative.
God's not dead. And there's 10,000 of you out there, and everyone knows about 100 people. That's 1,000,000 messages right there. 1,000,000 times we're going to tell Jesus that we love him in the next 3 minutes.
And for the young man who took up the gauntlet to defend God's honor, and you know who you are, I can only imagine the smile you put on God's face. This one goes out to you.
Look, why does God have to, like, have somebody defend him? I thought he's all powerful, all knowing, all wise, and benevolent. Everything that they say and do and believe contradicts the idea that God is all powerful and benevolent. Every single thing that they say and do. It's absurd on every level.
It was you, wasn't it? The one who defended God.
Oh, this is the Muslim girl who was beaten in one of the other episodes that actually caused flashbacks for some people. Thank you for that, God's Not Dead. I appreciate it. She went from Muslim to evangelical nutter butter Christian. Fantastic.
Yeah. How did you know?
I heard you talking in the cafeteria. Only a real risk tests the quality of a belief, right?
Oh, now they're going to get together, right? Yeah, I'm going to mute it. I don't need to listen to this song, but yeah, so that's basically the end of the movie, I think. They all text, God's not dead, he's surely alive, or whatever. Maybe I'm thinking God's not dead, too, when they texted that second one, but just terrible. Absolutely terrible. And not only was that a method of propagandizing to get other people into the religion to believe the way that they do, but it was another way to bring people in to see their movie. It was another advertisement method. And it's just gross, man. It's just gross. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm still playing the music. Yeah, I'm not into the music. So I think that's the end. Let me just skip forward a little bit. See if there's anything else I wanted to see before ending it. Oh, here we go. All right, so I guess this is the next part. Oh, yeah. See, that's the name of the song, God's Not Dead, He's Surely Alive. It's terrible. And this guy, the lawyer, is now, I don't know, in his car backing up or something. Okay, what's going to happen with him? Is he going to, like, die or get hit by a car also or something? Ah, okay. They're showing all of the people in their lives that received the message, God's not dead, he's surely alive. And now they're all going to be Christians too, right? So now they're standing there looking at his body as the atheist professor. Yeah, they're looking at each other. They're happy. They're passing a cell phone. God's not dead. God's not dead. And the dad of the Chinese kid is really unhappy because he's like, China is a nationally atheist country, basically. So I guess the point is that, like, some people don't care or are actively angry about it.
What happened here tonight is a cause for celebration. Pain, yes, for just a few moments. But now, think about the joy in heaven.
Yeah, just terrible. Everything about this movie was terrible. I guess I'll wrap it up because that's pretty much the end of it anyways. Just playing the song. Yeah, here you go. Watch this at the end. It says, join the movement, text everyone you know. I'm going to mute it again. God's not dead. That's it? It's just God's not dead? Okay, and then we got the subtitle or the credits and stuff. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. There's God's Not Dead 1. Absolutely terrible movie in my opinion. Propaganda from beginning to end. Gets you whipped into an emotional state intentionally to try to make you more vulnerable and pliable and susceptible to manipulation. From beginning to end, that was the entire goal of the movie. And if you think that one was bad, God's Not 2 is pretty bad also. worse, maybe. I don't know. This one was really bad. They way overstepped the line in this one, I have to say. The person that did the hit and run got away with murder, just saying. Yeah, that's fair enough. You're right. That's absolutely true. Anyways, wow. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. That was just terrible in my opinion. Absolutely terrible.